Ooh.
What's
Water?
going on?
It's live.
It is?
Yeah. It'll take a couple seconds to show up. 20
Oh, okay.
seconds.
Oh, okay. I see yours now. Yeah, I see it up. Okay, cool. Are you starting us off, or what are we doing?
All right.
Let's go, dude. Holy shit.
So I'm ready. So we missed yesterday's episode.
Yeah, we missed last week's. You're right.
So we can delve into that if we need to, but let's just start from the beginning. What did we first see? We saw. It showed the recap, and it showed.
Remember
We went
that-
straight into Dragonstone and
Yeah.
Daenerys and Jon.
Yeah.
This is from last week. Remember that disgusting scene where they were taking out the scales?
Oh.
You can see the
we
pus
see that.
coming
Yeah.
out.
And it
we
went straight
see
to Hot Pie.
Yeah.
And he was like, more rum.
That was a good transition. Oh my
More rum.
god.
I was like, damn, dude,
Yeah,
give this guy more rum.
I thought last week was good, but then I saw this week and I was like, holy shit. So, what? We started with Jon and Daenerys meeting at Dragonstone.
Yeah.
Finally.
Mm-hmm.
Did that feel like, oh, okay, let's see what happens? Or did you guys were like, whoa?
Yeah, it was fast.
It was fast, for sure.
It was fast. Yeah.
I was like, holy shit.
Because to me, it was more like, holy shit, I can't believe this is going on. But it was so casual. Like, it felt like, all right, this is just the usual run-of-the-mill sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What did you guys think about whole engagement conversation?
It was awkward because we know as the audience that he is half Targaryen, and she doesn't know, and she's just like, I'm the
He
rightful
doesn't know
heir.
either.
Yeah. But that was just fucking...
Yeah.
It was tripping me out. I was like, dude, he's the rightful heir.
That's true.
So wait, he's the daughter.
That's his aunt. Technically,
Yeah,
Daenerys is his
but
aunt.
wouldn't she have more claim than he would? Because
Yeah.
because she's the sister of the prince, and if the king is gone, then the prince would have been it, and then prince is not there, the other prince,
You might
and
be
then
right.
her.
You're right.
But I think that they would be. I still think they would look at each other a little bit differently if that
Yeah.
were the case.
More
But
agreement.
yeah, just the whole like she was coming off more on the front of like, hey, I got business to attend to, and then he's coming off like we got zombies. Like we
She
got.
was. I would use the word bitchy. She just constantly threw the fact that like I think I'm queen. Like show me respect, and then and then we can talk, kind of thing. In the beginning.
At the very beginning, yeah. I think
Yeah.
though they started easing out of that a little bit, but she was very much concerned about this whole like, okay, look, I've been through hell and high water. Like when she did her whole spiel, like I've been defiled, I've been this, I've been that. I'm here for one thing. Like that's my number one priority. And like I think the amount of focus she had on that was pointing out how ridiculous what he was saying was to
Yeah.
her.
Mhm.
And the rest of the time he's realizing is like, yeah, this is kind of a hard pill to swallow. Like, how do I convince people to join this? Like, Davos though, the hype man as always.
I know. He took it a little too far though. Some information that I think John didn't want to be known. The fact
Advertised.
that he got shot or stabbed in the heart. I was gonna say shot through the heart.
So every
Bon
every time they mention Onion Knight, I think of Final Fantasy. It's like, oh, there's Sir Devil, still Onion Knight. I'm like Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy.
What else? Yeah. So I think one of the things that's worrying him about knowing about that, about the death stuff for him and rebirth people know about Beric Dondarrion and how he claims to like have lived and died. It's very like it comes off like they're a bunch of kooky like crazy people. And I think he doesn't want to be looped into that. I don't think he wants he's got enough troubles. He's like, this is not going to help our case.
Yeah, I agree. And then
What else what do you guys think? Come on.
it showed I forget the guy's name. The guy who's bald, who got castrated.
The spider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Him and Melisandre are talking,
Mm-hmm.
and he kind of mentions how you're not in the front lines like you are next to the king, talking to him. And she feels that the first time she did it, it caused issues, and it ultimately was the reason why the king had died, was when she was helping him out. So she's feeling like taking a step back, but she talks about how she sees this is where she's supposed to die, and this is where Varys is supposed to die. So it's kind of like a foreshadowing.
And he
Like
was
she's
like,
like,
he
I
was
need
like,
to come back here and die.
and he was like surprised by that news too.
Mm-hmm.
He was just like, what the?
Yeah,
So-
I do think that was one of the many. There was a couple of things I felt like were foreshadowing. That was definitely one of them. There was some moments later on in the episode that we can talk about later that seemed like they were foreshadowing as well. But yeah, that did stand out. It also felt weird how that wasn't made note of. I think because there's so much going on at Dragonstone. Like they were talking about what just happened with Euron on the last episode in the boats. What's going on right now with Jon and them? That the whole Melisandre's here. She gave us this advice to talk to Jon. By the way, where the hell did she go?
Yeah.
What? So then we jump to King's Landing, right?
Yeah.
And then
We
what
have-
happened there?
We have prisoners that are being taken back to Cersei.
Fucking
And-
Yes.
Fucking Theon, dude. Fucking Theon.
And Theon had escaped. He jumped out. He gets grabbed
So, wait.
back into a boat.
Karosh,
And
you mentioned there's a character that is not in the show but in the books. Is that guy that they showed? Was he the
No,
guy?
that's
Oh,
not
no.
him.
Okay. Okay.
Because the character you're talking about is named Victarion,
Uh-huh.
and he is. There was three brothers. There was Theon and Yara's dad.
Mhm.
There was Euron, who is more of a schemer sort of person, and he in the books really is after Daenerys. He's like the way he in the show is after Cersei. He
Mhm.
has that same sort of focus and intensity with like I want to wed and be with Daenerys in the books.
Okay.
And what happens is he wins control of the Greyjoy people, and he sends Victarion on a mission to go get Daenerys for him. Last we saw in the books, but this Victarion guy is like a Viking badass guy, and I think in the show they mix the two characters a bit, and they show some nods to it because the battle axe that he had in the boats. If you look closely at some of the decorations on it, it is very much what is described in the books. That is the same sort of axe that Victarion had when he goes and fucking kicks ass. So. I was thinking the same thing when I saw that guy. I was like, are they gonna make a nod to this guy and like have him be like kind of like a low gruff, but it didn't look like it. But yeah, like just seeing like him where he's at and like he's just back to the being Reek again, and then like what you were saying, Vargas, where we see Yara being like touted around King's Landing, and I can imagine all she's thinking about is just like my fucking brother.
yeah.
Piece of
And
shit.
And then I forget the captor's name. The guy who took over the Greyjoys, pretty much.
You're on?
You're on.
Yeah, Euron. So he touts it too. He tells her like, "Oh man, did you see your brother's face just as he jumped off the boat and stuff like that?"
Yeah.
And she just stays quiet, doesn't say anything. I expected her to do like a face like, "Oh my gosh," or something, you know?
I think she's just like so. It's all like blowing by her so much that
Yeah.
it's just nuts. Like she's just she's numb to it now.
Yeah.
After that battle, but then we see like with the sand snake and then the mother.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck. Like I was expecting something more visually intense, but not as like mentally intense.
Yeah, my first thought was crushing her
Fuck.
head, you know, and
Well-
she mentions it.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be more like the shame chick, the one where she's like, "I'm gonna leave him with you," and it's not gonna be short. It's not gonna be easy. And yeah, it was still bad. Like just her describing what it means and what it's gonna be was fucking damn. What'd you guys think of that scene?
I think that's worse. That torture, just having your daughter rot away in front of you.
Yeah,
And you see that shit happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't know how long it's going to take either, and you can't do anything about it.
Well, the thing is, I think the death will be within like like a few weeks to a month.
Still.
But it's the fact that I think the way she's describing is, I want her to die, and I want you to continue to watch her body continue to rot, because she's like, you're not going to starve yourself. You're never going to starve yourself. We'll show.
I'm not going to let you. We're not going to let you kill yourself to like ease yourself.
So she's going to watch her daughter become bones, and then finally, and if anything,
poetic
and
justice.
part of it was a mixture for Cersei. Like you see her, she gets like a little like emotional. She's like, "Why did you do that to my daughter?" And you could see her kind of like cracking, but then she just thickens up again, and like just goes full like Cersei that we know, like this like just sinister person. I think like she's more and more, in my opinion, like embracing that side of her. Like in the past, she's like, I do it to protect. Like I do it to a good means, much like Olenna does, or much like some of these other characters do. They do it to serve a purpose that they're like, I can't worry about everyone. I'm worrying about my own, and whatever I have to do that. But I feel like now that she doesn't have those connections as much anymore, and she's closing those, like getting her vengeance on whoever's left on her list. She's like enjoying it more. She's doing it more out of like, it's going to be a little bit more unhinged, in my opinion. I think that's a little foreshadowing. And I thought it was interesting how you can see, like, she made it a very evident point how she wants her to suffer the same fate that she did, where she's like, I lost my daughter, you're going to lose your daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Where do we jump to from there? Do you guys remember?
I believe we went to back to the wall. We see Sansa and Littlefinger.
Oh, not the wall, the Winterfell.
Winterfell, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Fucking Littlefinger,
Scheming.
dude.
Yeah, and I have I did write a note on that one, because as they're walking, he's giving her advice. Well, it starts the scene with Sansa showing leadership. Like she knows what to do. She knows that the armor is supposed to have leather. She knows that, we need to start saving food now and rationing and getting more food before the war happens, because during the war, people aren't going to be coming in and out giving us food.
Yeah, survival. Like, we gotta survive this.
So we need to stockpile food. We need to have leather on the armor to survive winter. And then after that, Littlefinger kind of brings up Cersei, and he's like, you can't forget about it. And he's like, oh, can't forget the person that murdered my whole family. It's like, I know she's dangerous. I know these things.
Go ahead.
He mentioned something. He says, he says, fight every battle at once, like in your mind. And I feel
Everyone's
like
your
that
friend.
was a glimpse inside of
enemy.
his own mind.
Yeah.
That was a glimpse inside of Littlefinger's mind. Like, that's what he's constantly doing to try
He's
to
a master of.
to be who he is.
I thought that caught her off guard. Like, okay, I'm gonna, flirt with you a little bit, like I usually do. I'm gonna mention things that you already know, and then all of a sudden, boom, everything is at once. Once is everything. Think of all, think of nothing. I was like, what the fuck just went on?
You are the three-eyed raven? Like, what the?
Yeah, he just got possessed or some shit.
Yeah.
It's like, holy fuck! Like, he just gave her the cheat codes.
Because he did start out with everyone is your enemy. So I think Sansa kind of took it as like, what are you trying to say right now? That's how I took it.
The thing is, he's been he's not very shy of I feel like he's very transparent, in some senses, because he did the same thing with Ned. He's like, don't trust anyone here, including me. And that bit him. He didn't heed his warning. He's told Jon this, and whether Jon believes it or not, or whether Jon cares, whatever. And now he's telling signs of this. It's like he's giving you a shot. I feel like it's not like he's undercutting you immediately. He's like, listen. It's a crazy world out there. You got to be careful who you side with, myself included.
True.
But yeah, it was pretty interesting. I'm annoyed and worried that it's just meddling. And then at the end of that whole encounter was the whole Bran showing up. I thought like they were leading up to Arya coming.
Oh, she is headed there. That's right. I completely forgot.
Well, is she though? So this is the thing. Like, I was thinking back to last episode and the whole scene with the Nymeria, and how she's saying is like, that's that's not you, and harkening back to like her scene where Ned's talking to her. That's not me. I wonder if that was her, like if she's gonna continue if that was just her encounter with Nymeria and her reflecting there, or if that also means to her like I'm more like I'm no long I'm not as much House Stark as I was. Like I've been in the wild as well, like Nymeria was, and whether that means she'll still stay the course and go try to find Jon, or whether she'll go back on her mission. Like I feel like you're right, but part of me has a little bit of a hesitation on that course for her. But yeah, Bran does not have social skills.
Well, I think that has to do with that shows like how evolved he's gotten. You know, becoming the Three-Eyed Raven and stuff.
He's become Dr. Manhattan, so...
Yeah, but, like, he was just like, hey, I'm gonna, show you how impressive my skills are by reminding you of the night you got raped. Like, of all the nights you could have picked to, kind of be like, here's an example of my power, is like, I'm gonna traumatize you. Maybe that'll do the trick.
Yeah, like
I thought that was, and I was expecting the tree to, like, the eyes open up and it'd be like Pee Wee Herman, like, he said the word! He said the word!
I feel like that scene was meant to, like, we can see the face of it. It can't. It just looks like a tree, and then all of a sudden it moves, and she's like, oh my god, it's a face. But,
something to that effect.
Just to go back on Littlefinger,
he's
not worried about Tyrion telling Jon Snow about pushing, or, I mean, the whole incident where, Littlefinger was the cause of...
Oh yeah.
He's not worried at all.
I think he's there's so much that's gone on since then that most people have like forgotten, and he's not. I don't think he knows. Does he know Littlefinger or Tyrion? I think Littlefinger knows Tyrion's there, but Tyrion doesn't know Littlefinger's there. I don't know. It's interesting how like we know so much, but we don't know what they know all the time, like certain characters. But yeah, I think after that we jump back to Dragonstone.
We jump back to
after the Winterfell bit, and then we get
Tyrion talking to Daenerys.
No, Tyrion talking to Jon, then talking to Daenerys.
Right.
Like he's like intermediating between the two.
Yeah.
Playing like Civilization.
Although it does show that, like, it shows Tyrion kind of having them kind of open up to each other. I still feel like that transition to the scene where Daenerys and Jon talk was really strange. It just happened too quickly for me. How slow the show usually moves.
I think if you're gonna say how quickly that was, everything seemed too quickly.
Yeah, like travel-wise, I know that much.
Like next thing you know, Jon's already here. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And we got like 4 battles happening in the montage of an episode. You get dragons. You get like 18 meetings. This would happen over the course of a season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Give him something by giving him nothing.
It was some good advice on both parts. I would have liked to hear if Jon would have given Tyrion some advice about like, because you know how Tyrion was like, I'll help you with your problem. Maybe you can help me with mine. I can help you with yours. And he's like,
even trade.
Dude, I'm trying to think here. And he's like, all right, fine.
Kind of going back to when they first met. I thought it was pretty cool. I was like, oh, the Bastard of Winterfell. Oh, the Dwarf of Casterly Rock. I was like, oh, shit, that's fucking tight.
It reminded me of like Han Solo and Lando's like, you scoundrel. He's like, buddy.
Yeah.
But
I feel like that's their thing.
But yeah, that meeting, so talking to Tyrion was kind of surreal, and then Jon, like I feel like once they got the formalities out of the way, like Jon and Daenerys talking was kind of them talking as themselves. Like we don't need to like talk about like I'm not 18 titles and you're not the king of the North.
Yeah,
and like we're just two people. Just like we have problems. Let's try to figure this out so we're not at war because. You're not a bad dude. I'm not a bad person, chick. And come on. So let's figure this out. And she's like, I think Littlefinger helped, but I'm worried that, like, he's been giving advice, which is, I mean, it's been sound advice, but I'm wondering if it's going to hit a tipping point with Daenerys if more of his wisdom falls through. Like, the strategy he had for both fronts, however clever it was, got knocked out more or less over the course of these last 2 episodes, right?
That's something I wrote here. Is overall like Tyrion has been messing up as Daenerys' right hand. You know, so I wonder if that's going to be like, can I trust you? Like, are you trying to sabotage me? Because everything you've told me has not gone through.
Yeah,
you know?
that's a good
John
point.
didn't immediately kneel to me. You know, this whole battle thing got messed up, even though you gave us an entry into the, you know,
both battles, like the Martell stuff, failed, and then this thing, we don't know, like they don't know it yet, but it, as we saw, it looks like it's headed towards failure.
Or Grey Worm could just take it all back, you know. He could defend.
I mean, he could pull a 300 over there with like lean 9 stuff.
Yeah.
I was actually expecting that fight to be like an episode, like, you know, the Battle of King's Landing, the Bay, and like the Battle of the Bastards. I was like, this is gonna be like Gondor level, like fighting.
But they have very little time to push everything together, so I just feel like it is getting cut quicker and quicker.
Everything's fucking rushed.
But after that, we moved to back to the library. I forget what that place is called.
Oh yeah, Old Town.
Old Town, yeah, with
not the band.
Jorah, yeah, Jorah and Sam and Professor. What's his name in the Potter films?
I don't know. He's one of the borrowers.
Oh, okay. He was one of the professors in the later movies in Potter. That's always. I was like, this is like he's now Dumbledore.
Yeah. But yeah, so Tally manages to save Jorah.
Yeah. I liked his reason. He's like, I just had a good night's rest. You know, the weather's really good. It helps out.
The weather's good. It's perfectly right. Yeah, it's perfectly good. But Sam doesn't get reprimanded, but nothing. He doesn't get in trouble, but he doesn't get praised or anything. It's just like
he sort of gets praised.
He does. He gets Bart Simpson.
Yeah,
pretty much.
And then so that leads Jorah is going to go back to Daenerys.
Yeah, I think so.
So you brought up a good point about like Daenerys questioning Tyrion as a good right hand of the queen. Maybe with Jorah coming back, she'll be like, "It's your place to be at my side as my hand,
right and left hand,
small council."
So we had Jorah, and then after that we went back to the battle at this time, where we find Grey Worm winning the fight on Casterly Rock, I think it's called.
Casterly Rock, yeah.
Casterly Rock. And then he figures out, he's like, there isn't that many people here, like something's wrong.
When I was watching that, I thought they were gonna fucking blow that shit up. Like they were just gonna put a little bit of people in there. And I was like, oh shit. Round 2, blow up.
Oh yeah, like the church blowing up.
Yeah.
That's like they get obsessed with that stuff.
I think this way though, because it is mentioned later on by what's his face? Cersei's brother. I forget his name already.
Jamie?
Oh, Jamie?
Yeah, Jamie Lannister. Jamie mentions like, he has fond memories and they're gonna win it back anyways by coming back there later. They took out all the rations. There's nothing there.
Well, they're cutting them off, so they were like, and they took out the rations. They're cutting them off, so they're just gonna wait them out. It's not like beneficial outside of that.
Yeah.
When the way they were cutting that scene, I thought when you see the Lannister army on the outside marching,
they were going.
I thought they were like holding them outside of the castle, and they were just going to storm it on like the ways they knew in. But then they cut to the other scene. I'm like, oh, that kind of was jarring. But then I recalibrated.
Yeah. So I thought they were going back in that same battle that we're seeing.
Yeah.
But it turns out to be a different castle, High Castle to be precise, right? It's called
High Garden.
High Garden. That's right.
Tyrells. And
then let's talk about that. Like it just cuts to like them already owning everything.
Yeah.
And him going to Olenna, I think it's called Olenna.
Yeah. Man.
And that scene. So let's talk about that scene.
She like ate that scene up, I thought. Like she was I was like, this is why you picked her. She was a good actress for the part. She fucking ruled it.
I feel like she took that scene from Jamie in a sense of this was his moment. He hadn't killed anyone in a long time, like any of his own enemies. and here he comes. You know, he's like, "I got you. Like, this is it." And she's like, "Yeah, sure enough." And she just
guess what?
Yeah,
I got it.
Gives him some info that he needs. It doesn't.
And I forgot that he didn't even. I thought people for the most part knew that information, or it wasn't, you know, a big thing. But like, it is in fact. Like I keep underestimating what information has gotten to who.
Yeah,
and I think that has been a vital part of these character things of like, it's such. There's so much going on in the world that not all the news travels everywhere immediately, and not everyone knows everything. So, and I thought it was kind of, again, like seeing how she had killed Joffrey with poison, and she died of poison. It was, again, another sort of like full circle, much like what we saw the Martell chick had the daughter killed with poison lips, and her daughter was, it's like full circle for all parties here. And then even more so, we're seeing more of Daenerys's. Like, we ended last season thinking like, holy shit, like Cersei has nothing. This is gonna be a cakewalk.
Yeah, dude. And she's taking
3 episodes later.
She's taking the seas. She's taking the High Garden. Oh my god, dude.
But yeah, that scene was fantastic. I was sad, but at the same time, I was like, all right, you owned that scene.
Yeah.
And Jaime too, just seeing him, I feel like the way we were talking about Cersei taking her disconnectedness and taking it towards like vengeance and like wrath and fury. I feel like we were talking a bit earlier, and it was like, it feels like he's being beaten down by it, and he just he's losing everyone he loves. He's been hated on by the people. Everyone close to him is either being pushed away or taken away or something, and like, I think it's hitting him more and more that even the person he has closest to him is not 100% with him as much anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you guys think about Euron in all this on the Cersei side of things?
Oh man, he pissed Jaime off with this little remark.
The butt.
Yeah. How does she?
Yeah, he's like a rated R Jack Sparrow in some ways.
She like a finger in the bum? I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
But Cersei was talking to someone, and who was it? And you know, they were like,
the Bravos guy, the Iron Bank.
Was it? Oh yeah, and he was like, you know, I have Euron, and he's like, not for long, or you know, or how long, you know. It's kind of,
he's not
and
bound to you.
It's something that we know, and I'm sure she knows too, that he's not bound to her, you know, or to anyone in a sense. It's like whatever is in his best interest, he's going to go down that path. So she's going to try to keep everything in his best interest, so that he stays loyal to her for the amount of time that she needs him.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a game of like who's ahead of who, and
But right now,
it seems like she's playing it right. But I'm not I feel like we've underestimated Euron enough that I'm no longer. I'm like,
I know, because his boats are killing it, dude. Holy crap, dude! Supposedly he had nothing, and they built those, and they're way better than all the other boats that exist.
What's the hack in StarCraft where you can like insta build? He has that on.
He's got a pylon somewhere, dude.
I think.
Yeah,
I think we're gonna see the future dragon riders soon, because they mention it. Oh, you can't go there, Daenerys. You can't ride a dragon. And
hey,
so
Jon Snow
and Tyrion.
Dragon Tamer. I want to see Davos ride one of
them. You've talked about this, Jang, but I think, what is it? I think I already forgot his name. Brandon. The three-eyed guy.
Yeah, Bran.
Oh, that's right. I think he will control a dragon. I think when the battle comes against White Walkers, if anything, they'll have at least one dragon. And I think to control it the best, Bran will have to take control of it to do the most damage, or else the dragon's just gonna be flying wherever the fuck he wants.
He becomes a dragon.
Dr. Manhattan. Bran.
That would be surreal. I don't know. I feel like. Okay, so after this episode ended, I was like, I don't even have any idea what's going to happen next. Like, I'm done trying to predict things. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts or predictions?
I think a death scene's going to happen. I don't know whose death scene, but I feel like a death is coming up.
Yeah.
This next season, or this next episode.
There was an interesting, like, meme / like, post I saw floating around last week where it was talking, it'll go back to Game of Thrones, but it was like, I'm tired of all these people coming up with like adult dark theories of like kids stuff. Like, oh, Ed, Edd and Eddy's really like they're all dead and it's like ghost story, or like Rugrats is like all in Angelica's imagination. So he's like, I'm gonna take it the other way. I'm gonna take adult shows and give like a kid spin on them. And the way he used Game of Thrones as an example, he's like, it's just it's a D&D game with a vindictive dungeon master who's just killing everyone off. And I feel like this season's like, all right, we're wrapping it up. We gotta like just kill count. It's spectacular.
I think one of the best memes came out last week. Things you need the most when you need them. It's just a set of keys. I forgot what the other two items were, and then fucking Reek, Theon. Things you need when you need them the most. Keys, wallet, and I forgot what the fucking third thing was.
It's funny.
Piece of shit. Man, that guy. I don't know what's gonna like how that's gonna play out. Like, is there an end game where he's gonna be critical, or is it just gonna be like one of those personal stories where it's like he finally fulfills what he feels, or he just ends in misery, or I don't know, something. I feel like he's in a similar situation like Jorah is, where it's like he's isolated and but in not the same mental state, obviously, but just like his character arc is like, I'm gonna go away. I'm not yet ready. I'm going to go through all these trials or whatever. I don't know.
So, just after watching this episode, I think Tyrion mentions it. He said Ice and Fire. So, I used to think a song of Ice and Fire is either two things. The war against the White Walkers, Ice and Fire, it's a war. Or it's going to be Jon Snow getting together with Daenerys. And that's why they call it a song of Ice and Fire.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good... I think both of those are very valid. What do you think, Vargas?
Well, I mean, yeah, like, just to add to what fire is representative of Daenerys being obviously the Queen of Dragons, fire, and then Jon Snow being King of the North, ice, blue. So just Song of Ice and Fire. I think it has to do with them connecting, but it doesn't necessarily mean whether they fight the White Walkers or whether they win the battle over Cersei. It seems like overall the most important battle is winning against evil things that are like the White Walkers, but it just depends on everyone's perspective. To Daenerys, the most important thing is taking over that throne, and to Jon, it's the most important thing is taking care of these White Walkers. So,
I think there's in the lore of the history or the books or something, a Song of Ice and Fire is an actual like legend or something related to the prince that was promised or the princess that was promised. And it involves I think I need to find that, and I'll reiterate it next week or next time we record, but it is an actual part of the lore and stories, and I think people have dismissed it for so long, but people like Thoros and Beric Dondarrion and Melisandre are looking at that because they're like Lord of Light, and it's very much part of that mythos and stuff. So I think it's both. I think it's a combination of what you guys are saying. It's going to be a mix of like Jon and Daenerys, but also their role in potentially the greater, if they are who these myths are speaking about, their role in this greater dance and Song of Fire and Ice of like the Night Walkers or the White Walkers and the living.
Yeah.
So I'll come back with reports of that.
Yes.
Do you guys have any?
Maester Correct.
Yeah, I'll come back
He's
with
chains
the
scrolls.
And like a old top.
You got all the chains on. The rings.
Chains. All right. Did you guys have any final thoughts?
It's good.
The only thing I took from it is I'm worried about Tyrion right now because he's
Tyrion.
He's not doing so.
I didn't think about that until you mentioned it. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah.
He's been coasting pretty cool lately.
That's what I have here too. Overall take from that, but Tyrion is messing up as Daenerys' right hand is what I put as my final note there.
They weren't kidding about how fast the season was going. There's already 2 big battles, and it's only the 3rd episode.
But in a couple, like it was the water battle, and then these 2 battles in this episode, sort of.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, just it's even more to your point. Yeah, it's going super freaking fast. I don't know. It's throwing me off, and then all the things that are going on, it's just all over the place. It's definitely good. Like I'm already waiting for next Sunday. But yeah, I loved it. Great stuff. This was definitely a big episode. We got 4 more.
Yeah.
Well, shit.
And then we got
shit.
the second half later.
Yeah, in over a year. Fuck.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, I'll be back. I'll make sure next week to have some more info about like some of the lore and regarding the Song of Fire and Ice, so we can maybe talk about that a little bit. But
Maester Kurosh.
you guys could be the Song of Fire and Ice, and I'll
There
be
you
the
go.
Mace.
The mixer that tells everyone about our story of Fire
Yeah.
and Ice.
Do you guys want to close it out now, or?
Yeah, I think we're gonna closing it out.
Okay, cool.
All right.
It's been another good episode. We'll be back next Sunday then. Jang, where can people find us?
Us or at the Weekly DLC, SoundCloud, Instagram, podcasts. We do a weekly
YouTube.
podcast on Thursday. Comes out every Monday.
But they can find this show on YouTube
Okay.
and Twitch, right?
Twitch.tv/The Weekly DLC. On YouTube, that's going to be harder to find. Just type in The Weekly DLC, all one word. I think you should be able to find it with that.
Yeah. Cool. You guys can find me at Cujo Prime. Where can they find you guys?
At The Last
Jake.
Bosses.
And they can find me at the Fulio.
And until then, I think we got this, right?
Got
All right. See you guys.
All right.
Gotcha.